Hello, welcome back to the Care and Conversation studio, live at the Care Show London. We've got Ben with us today.
Good to be back.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thanks. It's been a good first day so far.
Lovely. Do you want to just tell us who you are, what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm Ben Miller. I was registered manager of Castleford Nursing Home, part of Milkwood Care. I'm going to be working for Avery Healthcare from about June time, so exciting things happening. Took the time to come here, got a couple of talks tomorrow, and yeah, just been touring around today, living life, talking to people. It's been a really good experience so far.
So we're going to talk about sales and marketing.
Yeah.
And in particular, social media.
Yeah. So I'm doing a talk about social media tomorrow. So I thought that'd be a good opportunity to.
So what are you talking about? What's the vibe in social media, sales and marketing for?
We use Facebook. I'd like to think we were using Facebook before Facebook for social care became too cool or trendy. I know there's a lot more avenues now that people use, like Instagram and TikTok, but we focused a lot on Facebook. And I feel it's been really beneficial to pretty much everything we do: recruitment, retention, bringing in new clients, really important evidence in for CQC as well. I mean, a great example we had that I can give was we took a resident who was immobile, they had dementia, and she, for some reason, God knows why, loves George Ezra. No offence to George Ezra fans, but not my thing. But she, despite everything, she'll sing all his songs. She's got a real thing for George Ezra. So he was actually coming locally to play a concert for us. So we took her to the concert to watch George Ezra, put it all over social media, got picked up by the BBC, so went on the BBC News. Next thing you know, the amount of inquiries we got significantly improved. Even though we were full at the time, long waiting list. We also had people applying for jobs, and one in particular came in, and during the interview process, you ask, well, what made you come for the job? And she said, my mum saw you at the George Ezra concert on the BBC and said, I've got to come and apply for this job because they must be amazing. And we are. We've been using Facebook now for going on about 7 or so years now, so like I said, kind of before it became quite trendy. We've built up a real good following. We've got a really good system that we use. I argue, I don't know if there's any metrics to measure this, that our social media is probably one of the best social care Facebook groups, posts, whatever, in the country, probably. We get a lot of likes, a lot of attention. BBC follow us quite a lot and share a lot of what we do. And like I said, in terms of holistically the things we show, it's just great all round for business.
I think that what Facebook's great at is if you're doing great things, it just amplifies that. And I do think there is also an argument to say, if you've got something that one of your residents wants to do that might be outside of the ordinary, outside of the budget, that actually, especially for medium, bigger sized groups, you go to them and say, look, I want to take this person to do this thing. We can make social media content out of it as well.
Yeah.
You might just find that unlocks an extra budget for you. I don't know whether that was... I think ultimately you've got to just be doing great stuff and use it to amplify it.
Yeah, it is, and it's quite... People will argue this. I would say using Facebook or in any social media is quite niche because anyone can use social media, but using it right is actually quite difficult. I mean, you would know because of the things that you guys do, but it's quite niche, and you've got to make sure that everything is perfect. And one of the things that I talk about quite a lot when it comes to social media is you'll see social media, care setting social medias, for example, and they'll post content really sporadically, once a month, once every other month. It's one line, couple of blurry photos, and then they'll advertise senior carer wanted, apply, phone this number, message us, and you're there going, they're not getting any interest.
Yeah, and they'll go, nobody wants to work for us, and you're like, well, no wonder.
Yeah, social media's rubbish. Why are we using social media? It's rubbish. And one of the things that I found that works really well for us is it's my head of lifestyles now, but she is social media queen, and she's got it down to a fine art, where she'll say, like, no point posting right now, no point posting on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock, for example, because we won't get any traction. We'll post it tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, just throwing it out there, that might not be right, but you'll get 10 more likes on average if you post at this time or post this content at this time, or even if you tag this person in it at this time. And it's really interesting to look at the science that she has turned it into to generate the difference between getting 30 or 40 likes and to 60 or 70 likes is quite remarkable. And we don't put a lot of money into it, almost nothing really, so it doesn't cost us anything in the grand scheme of things either, which is even more beneficial.
Every home should be looking internally to say who could be
Yeah.
our social media person. Because as much as you might like to employ an external company to do it, they're not there, they're not on the ground, they don't understand the things that make your organisation tick. So, I think it's always useful to do it with support of a professional company or like guidance or teaching, but actually you need someone like say, I think that's probably part of the key to it.
It is, and I think I've spoken to people, managers, and they go, well, I do our social media, and I go, well, that explains why you don't post very often then. And I can't write the posts, I'm not there, I don't get feedback from people, I'm not taking photos. How can I write I don't have time for a start, but how can I write a post with emotional feeling to invest people? So my guys will go out, they will take photos, they will write up a post, and one thing I stipulate, really important top tip, get feedback from people while you're there. And we put quotes. To anyone who follows our Facebook page, Castleford House Nursing Home, you will see that at the bottom, generally it will say, this person said this about this event. Again, great evidence for CQC, but it puts that emotion into it as well. When you go to the beach when it's raining, or George Ezra, or wherever it is you go, you want to see that people have been involved. You're not just doing it for the sake of taking photos or whatever. And then all I've got to do as a manager, it gets sent to me on Slack. I check the photos, are they of good quality? Because I'm not a photographer, but I want to see if I'm looking at that on social media, would I stop and go,
Is someone's
I'm
care
invested?
plan in the background or something?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And there's do they look happy? Do they look invested? Have they got food down them? Is the person in the background wearing the right PPE as well? That sort of thing. And then I spell check and grammar check the post, because there's nothing worse than having a poster and the spelling and grammar is just atrocious and it's not really worth reading. So I'll make sure that I do all of that, and then my lifestyles team post it. And even to the point now, like where I'll say, when's the next post coming out? 2 days later, and I'll go, we'll do it tomorrow because that last post is still generating likes. You don't want to overshadow it. I said it's an art and science, and like you've said, I think external companies, and there's quite a few of them, can offer guidance and even training, I've heard, which I believe would be useful as well. And Skills for Care have got some really useful insights and advice on how to use social media to advertise as well, which is really beneficial. When we started our social media, we were told by a lot of people, even our own company, they weren't sure about it. We don't want to do it because it's easy for people to share what you're doing and slag it off, be really negative, tag you in it, share bad experiences, just be horrible about it. But they're going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Social media, everyone's got an opinion now. So if you do something wrong, it doesn't matter if you've got a social media page or not, they're still going to give you bad reviews and all of that. So it's better off to demonstrate what you've got.
Yeah, I think if you recognise the risk and assess for it. You touched a couple of times on using it for evidence for CQC.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So not just CQC actually, but even for when we've gone to awards ceremonies, we've used it as evidence for awards. And basically, when CQC with the new quality statements and the new framework they're doing, they're going to want to see things uploaded to the portal that you provided evidence of these things. So whenever we do something outside of the box, like you said, that might meet criteria for their quality statement, swipe on the phone to screenshot it, print it off and put it safe, or upload it to the computer or something to send to them as evidence that we are doing activities, we're doing these incredible things. And I haven't used the portal yet because I can't access it, but I'm sure when it is working.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't working.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole different issue.
But once that is up and running, and I'm sure it's got some amazing potential there. These are things that you can send to your inspector and use as evidence that we're inclusive because we've got people who are disabled but love George Ezra, so we're taking them to go and see George Ezra, for example. Not a great example, but you know what I mean. And that's, I said, it's got so many different facets of, said, improving occupancy. We even use it, I don't advise doing this, but people do, for family members to be reassured that their loved one is actually getting activities and stimulation and things like that. So long as you stipulate to people, look, this isn't just what we're doing, we do other things, but we just put the good bits on social media. Good for recruitment. It's good for morale as well, because...
Yeah, I think, like you said, if my mum's in a care home and I see a couple of times a week, that there's stuff happening. Yes, that isn't everything, but it helps build that perception, that positive perception of a competent, excellent, outstanding home.
Yeah,
right?
it is, and it's really good because especially if people's families, loved ones live away and they can't visit so often, it's useful. But sometimes people will visit and they'll be like, Mum doesn't seem happy. So it's nice then to show that actually we did a cheese tasting event or something and Mum loved it and ate loads of cheese and was smiling and happy, and here's the photos to prove it. So it has that benefit, and even boosting morale for the team, for example. I mean, if somebody passes their health and social care qualification, or one thing we did recently, we had people who left, I know I'm talking about 2021, so about 3 years ago, to do a nursing degree, who's just qualified now. And even then we're sharing that they've, this person worked for us, started their nursing degree, now they've qualified, and well done to this person, they've done it as, they're still one of us.
I found team posts do really well.
Yeah.
Because then you're not selling, you're not showing off.
Yeah.
It's just about letting that person. But I have one final very important question.
Okay.
Alternative milks. What's your favourite?
Alternative what?
Milks.
Milks? Yeah. Oh, wow. No, I'm really old-fashioned. It's got to be semi-skimmed green top. That's it, nothing else.
Nothing else, no?
Nothing else.
Passes your lips?
I'm not a big milk drinker, so no, for me it's useful for putting in tea or putting on cereal, and that's it for milk. So yeah.
Fair enough. That's a pretty common answer.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm not surprised.
Thank you very much, Ben.
That's great.
Thanks for coming. It's been really good to talk to you.